Hello and welcome. I'm so glad you're here. No matter when you are doing this, I hope that you find this practice helpful in grounding, getting some energy going in your body, whether that's the energy of winding down, or maybe we need to build up some energy for the day that we have. For me personally, in this current moment, I am transitioning from my work day, my sort of busy hustle and bustle, and starting to shift into evening mode. So wherever you're at, come and join me. We're gonna get started seated on our mat. So go ahead and make your way there. And I'll suggest crossed legs if possible. And as always, we can kind of fidget around as needed so that we can make a comfortable little home on our mat. My eye is itching. And we're going to sit up nice and tall. We can rest those palms somewhere on our lap. They can be up and down, up or down, and we can tune into our breath. How about we just take a big, full inhale through the nose? And how about a sigh out the mouth? And we might take a couple more like that. Beautiful. We can take as many as we need, and when we feel ready, we can just invite that breath in through the nose and out through the nose. So just kind of welcoming the breath, feeling it as it flows in and out of our body. And again, no matter where we're at in the cycle of our day, we can use our breath to help us kind of transition from that outward gaze, that outward focus, and shift into this present experience, this experience of taking some time for ourselves, to care for our bodies, to care for our minds, our spirits. And let's just take maybe 3 more rounds of that deeper, more rhythmic, controlled breath to really set the tone, and maybe noticing that we even have to transition to a yoga breath from our regular day-to-day breathing, right? Take some conscious thought. And after we finish that 3rd or so round of breath, let's just start to shrug through the shoulders a couple of times. We'll inhale, squeeze those shoulders up to the ears, and exhale to roll them back and down. We'll just take a couple more like that. Let it be really sweet and soft and juicy, and I invite you to find a way to make your practice feel really good in your body, really nourishing and supportive of what you need, even if moments might be challenging too. At the same time, I think we can make space for both. Beautiful. We'll find that neutral place. We're sitting up nice and tall. Shoulders are relaxed. The heart is lifted. Let's inhale from this place, and exhale, turn and look over our left shoulder. We'll just pause for a little extra bit of time. We'll complete the exhale that we're on. Inhale takes us through center, and we'll exhale off the opposite shoulder. Lovely. How about one more full inhale? No rush. We're taking our time. Even transitioning from pose to pose, we'll inhale ourselves through center. And let's exhale, just gently relax that chin down toward our chest. Letting the heaviness of our head just sort of gradually stretch the back of the neck. And we might rock the head a little side to side, drawing that little half moon shape with our chin. Still just warming up here. Beautiful. We'll come up through center on an inhale. Let's take those arms out to the side and start to reach all the way up to the sky. And I'll invite us to just pause here for a breath or two, rooting down into those hips to really lift, actively getting long through the spine, the side body, chin lifts, chest lifts. Really drinking up this moment, drinking up this breath, again, wherever we happen to be in our lives right now. How about one more inhale? And as we exhale, we're gonna fold over those legs. So we can fold to our own degree. We might just bring those palms out in front of us. Some of us might wanna walk further, perhaps even enough so that we're able to melt the chest and belly down. Maybe even the forehead comes down. And we'll just take a couple breaths in the seated forward fold, breathing into the back body. And if we really think about it, we might notice that we are actually in a state of transition every moment of our lives. Whoa, like every moment we are really undergoing some sort of shift or change or transition. It's the law of life. It's one of them, right? The only constant is change. Change and transition can be thought of as synonymous in that way. Beautiful. Let's finish the exhale that we're on. We'll start to just walk our palms back in. We'll make our way back to that seat. And let's go ahead and switch the cross of the legs just to kind of balance out. So we'll bring the opposite ankle in front. And one more time, let's circle the arms up to the sky. It's actually gonna be more than one time. I lied to you. We're gonna find that lift in our seat, and this time on our exhale, left fingertips come out to the left side of our body as we take that right arm up overhead. We can always bend down so that that left elbow touches down if we have that available to us. So it's totally up to us. I'm gonna stay propped up on that palm and just put a gentle bend in my elbow. And same thing, we might kind of relax our left ear over our left shoulder. We can take a couple turns through the chin. Anything that feels good, getting into any of those kinks. Maybe we want to circle that right wrist around and wiggle the fingers. Getting some nice cracks over here. I don't know if you can hear that. Maybe you are too. How about one more inhale? Exhaling into that side bend, maybe just a little bit more, and then we're gonna let that right hand find the left knee and come into a twist. So the left palm slides behind us and we turn and look over our left shoulder. Life is this just sort of ever shifting transition. It's a constant state of transition and change. And you know, some transitions are bigger and longer and more obvious than others. How about one more big breath? We can inhale, lift the crown of the head a little bit higher. Exhale, ring out through the midsection just a little bit more. And then we're gonna take that little reverse cartwheel kind of move and just circle those arms back up to the sky. Catching an inhale before coming into the side bend on the other side. Beautiful. So same options. Maybe we're turning through the head, right? Circling that wrist. So maybe, I bet, right? We can all look back at our life and think about some bigger transitions. Maybe it was, I don't know, graduating high school, going to college, moving, starting new jobs, new relationships, ending jobs or relationships. The sort of bigger milestone markers of change that we all experience, I think, in our own way in the course of our lives. How about one more inhale? We can lift up a little bit higher. Exhale to lean in, and then we'll go ahead and relax that left hand to the right knee and take our twist to the other side. And if you've been through any of those things, you might recognize, right, that they can be pretty destabilizing, right? It can be really intense energy, and sometimes it can feel really overwhelming. Like, wow, oh my gosh, all of a sudden, everything about my life overnight feels different. How did we navigate those transitions? How did we relate to that experience? How did we move through it? How did we show up to it? These are just questions for reflection. What are our tendencies when it comes to change and transition? Let's finish one more breath here. Completing that exhale. Well done. We're going to transition now, just full of puns today. We're going to come through center and find our tabletop. So I'm going to go ahead and turn to the side just so you can see. And we're going to bring our palms under our shoulders. We're going to take that solid base, knees under hips. Let's just move around a little bit in our table. Let's find some cats and cows. Inhaling to look up, lift the tailbone. Exhale to round and curl through the spine. And we'll just take a few more like that on our own. Taking our time, right? I will remind us to take our time so often, because so often I find we just rush from thing to thing, right? Without really having conscious awareness of all of those little micro transitions, right? We're just kind of like whipping through life. Beautiful. We might, again, take this out of the box a little bit. We can wag the tail, maybe draw some circles with our hips. And it's that consciousness, right? That, yes, transitions, those big ones especially, might feel destabilizing or unsettling, right? We're losing our footing a little bit that we're used to. But they can also be times, if we have the mindset, right? This might be something we just try on and see how it feels. We might also look at those transitions as really beautiful opportunities to really consciously build our life back together in a way that works for us, in a way that we really like, that feels good and balanced and uplifting and inspired. Right? Like if everything's going to be different, how do I want it to come back together? How can I recreate this thing or this area of my life really consciously and intentionally? That's the gift of transition, I think. Let's come to neutral. And we're going to extend that left leg behind us. And let's see if we can float that foot. So keeping those hips level. Back foot is floating. Maybe we point and flex that foot a couple of times. We can circle it around. And if we're feeling saucy today, maybe we even extend that right arm out in front of us. We're going to think about drawing those belly muscles in and up. And my tongue is just like so tied today. I don't know what's going on. So we're getting nice and long from toe to fingertips. Ooh, I'm feeling my legs working. Maybe you are too. Let's do 3 little crunches here. Let's inhale, get nice and long. Lift the face and chest. Exhale to draw either that knee in towards our face if our right hand is down, or elbow to knee. Beautiful. 2 more. Inhale to stretch out. Exhale to squeeze in. 1 more time. You got this. Inhale, reach. Exhale, squeeze. Beautiful. Inhale, reach 1 more time, get nice and long. And we'll exhale, bring palm and knee back down. Maybe a little wag side to side. And just for a couple of breaths, we can either take those knees a little wider and sit back on the heels for our child's pose, or we can keep the knees as they are, keep the seat lifted, and just start to walk our palms out and slide our chest and belly down towards the mat. Maybe even our forehead comes down. Puppy dog pose, this is called. It's like a mini down dog with the knees grounded. Not every transition is a big, major, life-changing one. I think that actually most of them are more subtle. And maybe we don't even realize or recognize all of the little subtle transitions that we go through on a daily basis. Right? Like there's morning, afternoon, evening, and night. There's a whole cycle we go through just in one day. Lovely. Let's start to walk those palms slowly back in. Find that table, or free to shift around, right? Shake it out as needed, and we're just gonna prepare for the other side. So let's inhale that right leg behind us this time. So hips are level as we float that foot, and we can move around, we can point and flex. Lovely, and if we'd like to, we might float also that left arm out in front of us. Spinal balance. Inhale, reaching long. Let's do those 3 little knee curls. Exhale, elbow to knee or just knee to nose. Inhale, get nice and long, stretch it out. And exhale, squeeze it in. We're gonna do one more, good work. Exhale, last squeeze. Inhale, get long. And exhale, we're gonna release palm and knee. Shake it out a little bit. If we need to give the wrists a little shake, go ahead and do that. Because we're gonna use them in this next pose. So we're gonna find, once again, our tabletop. And from here, we'll find our down dog. So toes tuck, we'll start to lift those knees, stretch our seat straight up to the sky, and see if we can relax those heels towards the mat. Our knees can stay bent. And remember that puppy pose if we took it? We want to find the feeling in the upper body that we had in that puppy pose in our downward dog. So we're melting our chest through our shoulders. Our biceps are squeezing up by our ears. We might pedal the feet a little bit, right? We can relax one heel down at a time. There's transitions throughout this whole yoga class, right? Just in this hour. We move from laying down to seated to kneeling to standing, right? There's that cycle, there's that arc where we go through different periods, right? Different qualities to each little section. Staying connected with that breath, let's stay with it, conscious, right? How do I want to move through all of these transitions, all of these twists and turns, these ups and downs? I might not be able to control all of them, but I can decide the energy and attitude and how I want to show up. What do I want to do with these raw materials I'm working with? Awesome. Let's walk the hands back toward our feet. Oh, we can bend the knees a lot. Woo, beautiful. And let's just take a moment to kind of dangle in our forward fold. We again might circle out the wrists a little bit. We just got one standing flow to get through together. So let's do it. Let's press into those feet. Start to roll up, stack the spine. Awesome. Head comes last. When we get to the top, let's circle those arms out to the side. I'm hitting my window and up to the sky. Yes, palms touch up overhead, and exhale, we bring those hands through heart center. Gorgeous. Arms up to the sky on an inhale. Let's catch a side bend, leaning over to the left, grabbing onto that right wrist. Just pausing for an extra breath all the way in and completing that exhale. Inhale, rising up through center. And exhale, side bend to the right, grabbing onto that left wrist. Completing that breath. Lovely. Inhale, arms up through center. And exhale, we'll draw them through the midline. Awesome. So we're standing at the back of our mat. We're going to start the standing flow together with hands at heart center, maybe on the hips for balance, by just taking a big step forward, or maybe it's a couple steps forward, and we're going to find our crescent pose. So that looks like a deep bend in that front knee. We're in a lunge. The back heel is lifted, so we're on the ball of that back foot and we're pressing into that back heel so that our right thigh is like lifting up, really strong back leg. See if we can bring equal weight to both that front and back foot. Whoa. This is a balancing pose, by the way, in case you didn't already notice that. So we can always walk that left foot a little bit wider if needed. And if we're cool, whoa, I'm wobbling. Let's inhale, reach those arms up to the sky. Crescent pose. You guys are doing amazing. Just another breath or two. Won't be here long. Awesome. One more inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to start to bring those palms through heart center. and find a prayer twist. So our right elbow is gonna move towards that left knee and thigh area. Oh boy, see if we can ground it. Oh, and by the way, we can always, if needed or desired, bring that back knee down and do this very same flow. So no big deal, right? Crescent, prayer twist. I got the energy today, so I'm gonna go ahead and lift my back knee. And we're in that prayer twist. So the idea is to press into those palms, really leverage our bottom elbow into that left thigh to lift our chest up towards the sky. You guys are doing amazing. Big move, are you ready? Find that breath. We're gonna bring that left hand to our left hip, low back area, and see if we can lift all the way up. Whoa, so we're facing the left side of our mat. Oh my gosh, if you've got a wall, you might need it like I just did. And we're leaning back, we're reversing the lunge. Incredible, just a couple more moves. How about one more inhale? Exhaling into this reverse revolved crescent pose, and then we're gonna spin to the other side. Oh my goodness, back foot spins flat. We're gonna shift to the back of our mat now, bending into that knee. Right side and straightening out through the left leg. Hands can stay at heart center. We're in like a little ninja side squat. Skandasana is the name for this one. And those front toes, those left ones might stay grounded. Maybe they lift so we can kind of feel it out for ourselves. And we're breathing. Amazing work. Maybe we can sink the hips a little bit lower. Awesome. And then we're gonna spin back to the front of the mat. So we're gonna come on the back toes. In breath. Exhale, release those palms. They frame the front foot. One more twist here. Let's keep those right fingertips or palm grounded as we inhale, left arm to the sky. Just a couple breaths. You're doing so amazing. How about one more inhale? And as we exhale, hands frame the foot. Let's take a little vinyasa. We're gonna step that left foot back to meet the right. We're in the top of a plank. Those knees can always come down. Or we can squeeze those elbows in toward our ribcage as we lower slowly down. Inhale, untuck the toes, press into those palms, lift the chin and chest, a little baby back bend. Maybe we turn our head over one shoulder and then the other. And then exhale, we're gonna find either a child's pose or a downward dog. You pick. We got one more side, so catch your breath. Notice where your thoughts are, right? How we show up on our mat is oftentimes such a good indicator of how we show up off our mat in our lives, right? What thought, attitude, feeling, energy do I want to bring to the second side? Awesome. Let's start to one more time. Walk those palms back to our feetsies. And this time, let's take a little half lift in our forward fold. So we're gonna inhale, slide those palms up the shins, flat back, heart forward, and exhale. We're gonna lower back down. Let's just do two more like that. Inhale, nice flat back, little halfway peek up. And exhale, we're gonna lower back down. Beautiful, one more time. Exhaling over those straight legs. And then on an in-breath, we'll press into those feet and roll up, slowly stacking our spine. Gorgeous. We can shrug those shoulders up and away from the ears. Inhale, arms up to the sky. Let's catch those side bends. This time we can interlace hands behind the head if we want to try that. Take a moment to press those hip bones forward. Open the elbows, lift the gaze. Nice stretch in the chest. This is our inhale. Exhale, we're just gonna tilt over to the left. Leaning back into the cradle of our hands. Lovely. Next breath in, we're gonna lift up. And exhale, we're gonna side bend right, pausing for a breath. inhale up through center. Last moment to kind of lean back. And then we can release those hands, inhaling to reach up and exhale to draw our prayer through the midline. Preparing for that lunge. We got this. You ready? We're almost there. So hands to hips or at heart center. We're going to take a big step or a couple into our crescent pose. So right foot forward. We're on the back toes. Again, that heel is lifting. And we're pressing strong into that back foot. So it's almost like we feel the muscle of our left thigh lifting up against that bone. Yeah, this is a wobbler sometimes. Transitions can be bumpy, right? They can feel a little wobbly. Maybe we inhale, arms up to the sky. No big deal, right? It's only a big deal if we make it a big deal. If wobbles come my way, okay, how do I want to ride them out? All right, one more breath. You ready for that prayer twist? We're gonna inhale in our crescent. Exhale, hands come through the midline. And we're gonna hook, this time, our left elbow over the right thigh. Remember, you can always bring that back knee down. But we're using the leverage of those strong arms into our strong leg. Seeing if we can bring our hands to the center of our chest. Biologically, right? Our bodies are always changing. Our cells are in a constant state of destruction and repair, right? Like our body is always creating new cells and replacing the old ones. Let's get ready for that reverse revolve. That right hand is going to come to the right hip. Oh, balance, pressing into strong legs. Seeing if we can take that left arm up and overhead, staying low in that lunge as we twist a little bit, gazing off that back shoulder, if possible. So even if we don't notice it, right? Even if those changes and transitions are like so slow and subtle, we literally, in our skin, are changing every moment. Beautiful. Let's start to inhale, unwind. We're going to spin towards the back now, right? So we're going to ground through that back foot, the left one, bend into that knee, straighten out through the right leg. Maybe those toes lift. Hands can come to heart center, a little ninja squat. And again, so much is out of our control, but it really is so much within our control too. It's what I'm doing and how I'm showing up and what I'm creating in the transitions of my life, whether they're big ones or small ones, that are going to determine my experience. Beautiful. All right, we're going to shift back to the top of the mat one more time, spinning on those feet. So both sets of toes are facing forward. We're going to release the palms to frame that foot. Final twist. Left palm stays grounded, right arm to the sky. Incredible. Can we take one more big breath in to open that heart? Exhale, hands frame the foot. Last opportunity for a little vinyasa here. By the way, the word vinyasa, when yoga teachers call that out, it means transition. It means cycle. So we're going to take this little transitional cycle from plank, right? Knees lifted or lowered. We're going to use an exhale to lower down through our push-up. Inhale, roll the shoulders back, lift the chin and chest. And let's just find a child's pose from here. Let's open those knees a little wider, bring the big toes to touch, and go ahead and melt it on down. We made it. We made it. Maybe enjoying a sigh. Catch your breath in this child's pose. Congratulations. congratulate yourself for riding all of those twists and turns and ups and downs the way that you did. Ready, we can start to bring some weight back into those arms, press into the palms, and start to lift our upper body. Let's go ahead and swing those feet out in front of us. I'm gonna face you just so you can see. I'm gonna bring my hands behind my hips. I like fingertips pointing back. I know some people like fingertips pointing forward, so you can kind of feel it out for yourself. And we're going to bring our feet flat, maybe walk the feet a little bit wider. And let's just take a moment to press into those palms and lift the chest, lift the chin. So much of how we experience transition comes down again to our conscious awareness, the thoughts that we're thinking related to that transition. From here, let's swish the knees a little bit, side to side, doing some nice little windshield wipers. So let's say we are transitioning careers, right? We decided that our job is no longer a good fit for us and we're moving into a new one. Anyone who's ever changed careers, myself included, knows how daunting that can feel, right? I remember worrying about making a mistake. Like, what am I doing? Why don't I just stay where I'm comfortable? All of those thoughts we have. What if it doesn't work out? What if I don't like it? What if I'm bored, right? Those are a thought stream that we could entertain if we want. Let's come through center. I'm just gonna spin for the angle. So feet again are pressing into the earth. Let's grab onto either the front of the shins or the back of the thighs just to help us kind of lower down onto our back. We made it all the way there. Good work. And when we get there, how about we just stretch out nice and long? We can point and flex the feet. And you know, all of those things might be true. Like, it is possible, right? That we might not like the job we pick. And we might be bored. Who knows what could happen, right? I think the point is we don't know. We're choosing to take this course of action and we get to decide how we approach it. Beautiful. Let's squeeze those knees into the chest, make ourselves a little ball, rock and roll side to side. So another perspective of that situation, right, might be the opposite. We might think to ourselves, wow, what a bold, brave, courageous move to make. How about a final twist? Let's open those arms out to the side, letting knees fall over to the left and gazing to the right. How cool is it that we have the freedom to choose? I can choose to change my job. And guess what? If I don't like it, I can choose to go back. I can choose to change again. This is a beautiful opportunity for me to get to know myself in a new way, to build some new skills, to meet some new people, no matter how it turns out. Take a final breath here. And we'll inhale our knees up through center and just let them fall off to the other side. We can switch the direction of our gaze. Finishing a final breath, or whenever we feel complete with our twist, we can come up through center once more and find a comfortable position to rest just for a few moments. We might stretch out nice and long. For me today, I think I'm going to keep the knees bent and kind of knock them together for support. We can extend our arms long or bring our hands somewhere on our body, making sure that we're as comfortable as possible. And we get to transition into our rest, our designated stillness. Letting go of that deeper breathing with a final breath in. And maybe a sigh out the mouth. Please know that you can stay here for as long as you want and need to. But when and if you are ready, we can start to bring ourselves back to our body in this moment. Can come back to that deeper breath and some stretches, maybe through the hands and feet. Maybe one more stretch with everything out long, arms up overhead. It's so amazing just to recognize that we are literally different in this moment than we were when we started. We've already transitioned to a new version of us. When we're ready, we can momentum ourselves up to a seat, or maybe we use our hands to help support us on that journey up. And we'll close it all out together with a final moment in our seat. We'll bring those palms to touch. May we continue to embrace and honor and recognize all of the ways in which we are transitioning every moment, and bring the very best of us, our conscious awareness, to every moment of that transition. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Namaste. Beautiful work. Such a pleasure to get to spend some time with you all. I hope you enjoyed your practice, and I'm always here for you, so feel free to reach out. Good night, everybody.